I don't know if are you familiar with that name at all? I know I'm name dropping, but he was a company called Brent Averill, and he, I don't know, it's now called B&E.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
But they used to take old Neves, mic pre's, and just recap them, fix them up, and then package them, put them in a rack space. And so I have a ton of those. I have 12 of those. Wow. And yeah, man, that is huge. That is a big part of a sound. But I've also got APIs. Shoot, what else? Drummers. Those are pretty sweet. But yeah, the mic pre's will make a big difference. Overblowing the preamps will make a difference in the guitar sounds. That's something to definitely try, is just, blow up your preamp. I mean, just distort the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Or run from one preamp to another preamp and see what that does. You know what I mean? Just be careful. Don't sizzle anything, but just, be creative in your patching and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Left field question, but do you get a lot of like people coming in that want to just like reamp, DI guitars and
Absolutely. Because
I know for some genres it's like super important, especially like metal and hard rock and stuff.
Yeah, dude, great question. Yeah, absolutely, because of the air, Yeah. Yeah, and I do that with projects like you had mentioned something. There's this artist, Kahil El-Zabar, and David Murray. David is an unbelievable sax player. But they're very esoteric. They're kind of out of this new music-y, very esoteric genre. So it was a hard record to record because there's everybody was in the same room. I put the acoustic bass in a booth because it just can't project enough to keep up with a drum kit and and what else they were throwing at me, live sax and that sort of thing, and piano. And all right, so I got kind of a cleaner sound, and when I listened back, I was kind of, that kind of blows. It wasn't what I really wanted, especially when I was mixing, just doing rough mixes. I was like, boy, this is really antiseptic, because I went kind of clean because the room was just a mishmash, of everybody. So what I did is I then took everybody's part and I ran everybody through the room. I've got some Genelec 1031As that I put in the back corner of the room, and I set up some nice ribbon mics and then ran each sound through it and added that to the sound. It's fantastic. All of a sudden, everything opened up like crazy. So yeah, rooms, man, they make a big difference, because there's the acoustics, the nodes that are happening within that, the things bouncing around. It's it's hit and miss sometimes, but because I've got a good sounding room, it really works. I'm working on a jazz record, another jazz record, with a guy, again, esoteric. It's kind of like he does Irish music and avant-garde jazz, and he has a sax player named Dave Liebman. Again, sorry for the name dropping, but these are important people. These are really sweet. Dave Liebman is a sax player everybody should look up. He is just a legendary guy. He took over. He played with Elvin Jones back in the day, and when Coltrane died, Liebman kind of took over his spot with Elvin Jones. And so Dave is, oh my God, what a player! So he plays a lot of soprano these days, but he's just an unbelievable artist. But same thing with this project that I'm working on. I'm constantly reamping, and it's fun. It really makes a big difference for the sound when you add it in, delicately, and just salt it in there with some reamp. It's great.
So tell me a bit more about mixing and your approach and your philosophy and how you go about doing it.
Sure.
In this, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a shifting world because technology, again, embrace technology. Don't be afraid of progress, It's
going to come anyways, right?
Yeah. Whether you don't have any fucking say in it, that's for damn sure, right? So it's better to embrace it. So anyway,
totally.
Plugins are getting better and better and better and better and better. They're really, really kicking ass. They're really pretty great. But being an old school guy, I still love my analog. So what I've been doing lately is, the guys are saying, oh man, you got to go more in the box. You got to do this, get off the board more, because the board is a little problematic. 1987 SSL console has got a lot of scritching to it, and there's dirt, there's scritchiness, there's things that can happen. One day all of a sudden you get a buzz and you don't know where the hell that's coming from. But I still love it. I love my analog sound. So what I'm doing is what I consider pretty hybrid-y. I'm mixing in the box, but up until maybe the last 2 years, I've been doing a lot of on-the-board mixing. But I have conceded to go into the box, and I like it. I like it a lot because there's, as I say, great plugins. But what I'm doing now is because we have multiple input-output systems, I'm taking the first 16 channels of my board and I'm running them through inserts on Pro Tools. So I'm putting like my kick drum on channel 1, my outside kick on channel 2, my snare on my SSL channel 3, my bottom snare on 4, hi-hat on 5, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mostly my drums, and I'm mixing on the SSL. And because it's interacting with Pro Tools, which I lovingly refer to as slow tools, I'm reaching for my EQs, which I'm used to. I love my SSL EQs, so I'm reaching for those. I have dynamics, I have compression on my SSL, and it's cool, man. It really is cool because I haven't completely given in to in the box yet. I still have my analog. I have my 16 channels of analog. And the cool thing about it is that you can commit. Once you feel good about these physical channels, you say, okay, I got a sound that I can live with. You can commit them. Just commit the tracks. It writes everything through the SSL channels and writes it into Pro Tools. And then when you call it up, you do not have to repatch. It's a ton of patching. And and it's a lot of work to get set up, but I'm really happy with the results of doing this hybrid style mixing. Yeah.
Have you checked out the new Waves plugin? Like, what's it called? They have like a new SSL kind of. It's supposed to feel a bit more like you're working on a board. It's a Chris Lord-Alge thing.
In fact, we're gonna check that out. Yeah. We talked about it about a week ago, right? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't something I was interested in because I'm just so in the box already that it would actually be detrimental to my workflow.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not even going to look at that.
No, that's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, because we are checking that out, man. Right.
But apparently, it's like very good for like if you're used to that kind of like you need everything in front of you in that moment.
Yep.
So like I don't know, might be worth checking.
Waves
Israeli company, by the way.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. No kidding. Wow.
I have a buddy who works there. Yeah.
Well, Waves is fabulous. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And Chris Lord-Alge is fabulous too. I mean, my God, that guy is fantastic. Yeah. I mean, what's not to like about him? I mean, well, there's a couple things that you may not like about him, but
he's got an Uber trademark sound, that's for sure.
He is got great ears, and he's made unbelievably fantastic records. So, I listen to him. Another guy that I really adore is Andy Wallace. I think that out of that old SSL sort of thing, he was an SSL 4000 mixer too. What a great mixer he is. And still around. I had the opportunity to meet him a couple of years ago at an AES in New York. And
cool.
Wow,
I was at AES a couple of years ago. Maybe we crossed shoulders or something.
Yeah, man. Maybe right.
It's possible.
Right? That was a lot of fun. We did a studio field trip to the AES show. It was fun. Really had a great time.
But there must be something to like the knobs of the SSL and that kind of like the physical fluidity that like. Yeah. Not even like if even if let's say the CLA Waves plugin does like other things well, like you're still gonna miss that.
Oh yeah. I do. I loved grabbing for my EQs, man. And there is something to that. But now as things progress sonically, there's real benefits of having maybe a little cleaner sound. I get a kick out of the fact that so many plugins are devoted to creating fuzz and noise and overdrive and harmonic distortion and grit, and it's just like, well, they've admitted that digital is just too damn clean, and now we have to have to dummy it down with Black Box is a great plugin. We use that a lot. A plugin called Satin is fantastic for adding, distortion and, just that little edge of cool stuff. What else do we use? Well, the Oxford Inflator. My God, what fantastic thing that is. Yeah, but there's so many inventive, great plugins coming out. It's hard you can't ignore them like you used to be able to. There's a whole slew of great stuff. So yeah, that's funny that you mentioned the waves. We are going to check that out real soon.
Yeah,
so,
let me know what you think about it.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to hear your thoughts.
I will.
So do you have any like practices to stay fresh and creative in the studio space?
Well, as I mentioned before, I think the best way to stay out of the doldrums is don't be complacent, reinvent yourself constantly. Make a point of if you feel stale, that's going to rub off on everything you do. So try new approaches, try another way to do business, another way to go to a different spot in your recording setup. Just do it, mix it up, reinvent it, because maybe you'll hit something that you're going to say, wow. I never stop learning ever. And I don't think and I'm never complacent. I always think everything, I'm never like, oh my God, this is so great. I'm always like, could be better. I guess I could do that. And, I mean,
a classic audio engineer.
Yeah. It's just complacency is a very elusive creature. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, man, I honestly, as kind of easy or as silly as that sounds, I really think that reinventing yourself is a big deal, and just don't be complacent and always approach stuff as fresh as you can. Sometimes I don't have the luxury to do that because I'm always under a time money gun. My clients don't have a ton of money, so it's just like, I can't experiment on their dime. So I go with my drum setup and I go with my setup and I just try to, then I'll alter things after the fact, but I'll adjust as we go if I need to, But I try to be as intuitive as I can when I'm tracking and really pay attention. Like, is this truly the right snare for this sound? Is this truly the right, sound going on here? I don't know. You always got to question what you're doing. And, and I talk to the clients too. I love to get their opinions. I do. I work with my clients very closely, and I'm not a dictatorial producer at all. I think people like that too. The fact that I'm not making it my sound. I'm going to make it our sound. And and I like their input. I like what they have to say. They've been doing more thinking about it than I have. That's for sure. And this is their dream. So let me hear what your dream is, So yeah, that's another thing I definitely would recommend is don't shut your clients out. Work with them,
Yeah. The sensitivity. Yeah. I think that's I think if you have that approach of just caring about your clients because it's their song, it's their baby.
It is their baby, right?
Then you're already doing better than 50%. At least of the other dudes, and hopefully some gals out there.
Yeah. You know what? That's fun. That's great that you mentioned that. Yeah, because I'm always trying to. We have female interns, and I'm always trying to promote them. So
that's awesome.
I really, really love it. I want women to do great. And we have some good women here that are starting up their own little home things and doing some nice recordings, and I love it. And I've been preaching this for years and years and years. I think women artists are going to feel, unless they like working with men. I think there's going to be some women that don't want to work with men, that want to work with women. So my God, go for it. Find some female clients that want to work with you. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. I just did an interview with someone named Ebony Smith from New York. Uh-huh. She works at Atlantic Records. Nice. She's an audio engineer there. Mm-hmm. And she started an organization called Gender Amplified. So check it out.
That's great.
They're trying to get more women comfortable with
it's a tough deal.
You see one woman working behind the board, it snowballs.
Yeah. Well, that is Sylvia Massey. I mean, what how cool is she? Right? So
yeah, damn cool.
Yeah, real cool. So I think absolutely there's a time and place. It's really hard on women because it's such a sausage fest, man. My God, I tell women too. I say, please, if anybody fucks with you, just tell me. dump on them like a ton of bricks. Don't ever, let anybody get away with like sexist comments to them or demean